Video title: Why Your Leg Pain is Actually Your Spine. The Invisible Wire Deception. Section 1. The Great Deception. The Hook and the Pattern Interrupt. Have you ever wondered why the most stubborn, burning pain in your leg refuses to leave, no matter how many expensive creams you rub on it or how many ice packs you strap to your thigh? You are smart. You know your body. When your calf throbs, you treat the calf. When your hamstring feels tight, you stretch the hamstring. It is the logical thing to do. But I have a controversial question that might change the next 20 years of your life. What if your leg is completely innocent? What if I told you that treating your leg pain by touching your leg is like trying to fix a broken lamp by changing the light bulb, when the real problem is that the cord is cut behind the wall? Here is the overwhelming proof that demands your attention. A groundbreaking 2024 study conducted by researchers at Stanford University, analyzing over 5,000 adults over the age of 55, found that a staggering 40% of patients seeking treatment for chronic hamstring strains or stubborn calf pain had absolutely zero tissue damage in their legs. None. Their muscles were pristine. The pain was a phantom, a ghost signal sent from a source they weren't even looking at. Think about the implications of that. That means nearly half of the people limping around the grocery store right now are spending their hard-earned pension money treating a muscle injury that does not exist. They are chasing a mirage. If you click away from this video now, you risk staying in that 40%. You risk spending the next decade in a cycle of misery, popping anti-inflammatories that chew up your stomach lining and stretching a nerve that is already screaming for mercy. You risk letting a minor back issue rot into a permanent disability because you were too focused on the wrong location. But if you stay with me, I am going to hand you the blueprint. We are going to ignore the smoke and go straight to the fire. I am going to show you how to trace the invisible wire that runs from your hurting toe all the way back to the fuse box in your spine. And I am going to teach you the one secret, a specific physiological trigger that will tell you in less than 5 seconds if your leg pain is actually a back problem. Section 2. The Wiring Diagram. Understanding the why. Let's strip away the medical jargon and look at the engineering of your body. I want you to close your eyes for a second and imagine you are standing in your garden on a hot July afternoon. You are holding a long green hose, watering your prize roses at the far end of the yard. The water is flowing perfectly, but suddenly the flow stops. The water dies. Now, look at the nozzle in your hand. Do you start shaking the nozzle? Do you take a screwdriver and dismantle the nozzle? Do you drive to the hardware store to buy a new nozzle? Of course not. You know intuitively that the nozzle is just the exit point. You look back across the lawn 50 feet away, and you see that you are standing on the hose near the spigot. The kink is at your foot, but the failure is in your hand. Your body works on this exact same hydraulic principle. You have a massive cable inside you called the sciatic nerve. It is not a wispy little thread. It is the thickest, most robust electrical wire in the entire human system. In some places, it is as wide as your thumb. It originates deep in your lower back, weaves through your hips, runs down the back of your leg, and branches out all the way to the tip of your big toe. It is one continuous, unbroken line, like the brake cable on a bicycle. If you pinch that brake cable up at the handlebars, the brake pads lock up down at the wheel. Your spine is the handlebars. Your leg is the wheel. When you hit 55, things in the spine start to change. A disc might bulge out like a squashed jelly donut. A bone spur might grow like a jagged rock in a smooth tunnel. When these things happen, they clamp down on that sciatic hose right at the source, in the lumbar spine. But here is the cruel trick your brain plays on you. It is terrible at geography. Your brain does not feel the clamp in the back. It interprets the distress signal as coming from the end of the wire. We call this referred pain. It is a neurological lie. Your brain screams, "My calf is on fire," or "My big toe is numb." But the damage is happening 18 inches higher. In fact, research from the Mayo Clinic confirms that simply understanding this referred pain mechanism and shifting treatment to the spine can reduce reported leg pain intensity by over 50% in the first month of treatment. That is the power of looking in the right place. You need to stop trusting the location of the pain and start trusting the behavior of the pain. You need to stop being a victim of your neurology and start being the mechanic of your own body. Section 3. The sneeze mystery, the open loop. So this brings us to the million-dollar question. How do you know? How can you be 100% sure right now, sitting in your chair, that your leg pain is coming from your back without waiting 6 months for an MRI appointment or spending hundreds of dollars on a specialist? There is a secret way to tell. It is a bizarre, almost magical test that requires zero equipment. You don't need a reflex hammer, you don't need an X-ray machine, you don't even need to stand up. It involves a bodily function that you do almost every single day. Sometimes you do it when you have a cold, sometimes you do it when you are laughing too hard at a joke, sometimes you do it in the privacy of your bathroom when things are a bit stuck. It is a moment of sudden internal high pressure. If you do this one specific thing and you feel a sudden, sharp zing of electricity travel down your leg, you have your answer. That zing is the smoking gun. It is the body's way of confessing that the problem is in the spine. I am going to explain exactly what this mystery trigger is, the biology behind why it works, and how to check it safely in just a few minutes. It is the single most important diagnostic tool you have, and you carry it with you everywhere. But before we reveal that secret, we need to look at a map. We need to play detective and figure out exactly which vertebra in your back is the culprit based solely on where your leg hurts. Section 4, the map of misery, dermatomes and microdiagnostics. Did you know your skin is actually a map? The pain you are feeling isn't random. It isn't wandering around your leg without a plan. It follows a very specific ancient track known as a dermatome. By looking at exactly where the pain flows, we can pinpoint which level of your spine is failing. We can narrow it down to the exact millimeter. Let's act like detectives. I want you to mentally scan your leg right now. Scenario A, the side leg sweeper, the L5 nerve. Take your hand and place it on the side of your thigh, right by your pocket. Now run your hand down the outside of your leg, past the bony part of the knee, and down onto the top of your shin and the top of your foot, ending at the big toe. Is that where your pain lives? Does your big toe feel numb or weak, like it's hard to lift it up when you walk? If you said yes, that is the classic signature of the L5 nerve root. The L5 vertebra is the workhorse of your lower back, and when it gets grumpy, it sends pain down this exact side road. This matters to you because if this nerve gets weak, you lose the ability to lift your foot properly. This leads to tripping over rugs or stumbling on the sidewalk, a fall risk you cannot afford. Scenario B, the back leg burner, the S1 nerve. Now, let's check a different route. What if the pain runs straight down the center of the back of your thigh? It goes right through the meat of the hamstring, down into the bulky part of the calf, and wraps around the outside edge of your foot to your little toe. That is the S1 nerve root. This is the classic sciatica path. When people say they have sciatica, this is usually the nerve that is being crushed. The S1 nerve powers your calf muscles. It's what allows you to stand on your tiptoes to reach the top shelf in the kitchen. If this nerve is compressed, you lose that push-off power. Walking becomes a chore. Scenario C, the front thigh acre, the L3/L4 nerves. This one is less common, but it tricks people all the time. Do you feel a deep gnawing ache in the front of your thigh, right in the quadriceps muscle? Maybe it travels down the inside of your shin? People often mistake this for a hip problem or knee arthritis, but often it is the L3 or L4 nerve root high up in the lumbar spine. Try this now. Pause for a second. Use your finger and physically trace the line of pain on your leg. Don't just think about it, touch it. Does it go down the side, the back, or the front? I want you to type your answer in the comments below. Just type side, back, or front. I want to see which nerve is causing the most trouble for our community. This helps me make better videos for you in the future. Section 5, the stretching trap, the critical mistake. Now that we have identified the location, we have to talk about the mistake that is likely keeping you in pain. This is the trap that catches 90% of people. It is the reason you are watching this video instead of out playing golf or gardening. You feel that tightness in the back of your leg. It feels like a violin string that has been wound too tight. Your instinct, your logical human instinct, is to stretch it. You think, if it's tight, I need to make it loose. So you put your heel up on a chair, you lock your knee, and you lean forward. You crank on that hamstring. It feels like a good hurt for a few seconds, doesn't it? It feels like you are doing something productive. But then, 20 minutes later or the next morning, the pain is back and it is louder than before. Stop doing that immediately. You are not stretching a tight muscle. You are pulling on a taut, angry, inflamed nerve. I want you to imagine that your sciatic nerve is a piece of rope. Now imagine I tie a tight knot in one end of that rope. That is the pinch in your spine. If I grab the other end of the rope and yank on it with all my strength, does the knot get looser? No, the knot gets tighter. The rope frays. The tension increases. When you stretch a leg that has nerve pain, you are literally strangling the nerve root. You are taking a structure that is already swollen, irritated, and lacking blood flow, and you are aggressively tensioning it. This triggers a chemical explosion of inflammation. In scientific terms, this is called mechanosensitivity. When a nerve is healthy, it can stretch and slide. When a nerve is injured, it becomes allergic to tension. Every time you do that hamstring stretch, you are re-injuring yourself. You are keeping the wound open. You cannot stretch a nerve problem away. You have to treat it with a completely different set of rules. Section 6, the slump check, the physical proof. If you are skeptical, and you should be, there is a lot of bad advice out there, we're going to do a physical test right now to prove this theory. This is called the slump test. It is the gold standard used by physiotherapists worldwide to tell the difference between a tight muscle and a trapped nerve. You can do this safely in your chair. We're going to stress the nerve without stressing the muscle to see who screams. Step 1, the setup. Sit on the edge of a dining chair, feet flat on the floor. I want you to have terrible posture. Slump your shoulders forward. Let your mid-back round out. Now drop your chin all the way down to your chest. Imagine you're trying to hold a tennis ball under your chin. By doing this, you are pulling the spinal cord up from the top. You are putting tension on the system from the neck end. Step 2, the trigger. Now, very slowly, and I mean slowly, start to straighten your painful leg out in front of you. Lift the foot off the floor. Pull your toes up toward your shin. Step 3, the verdict. Here is the key. If you feel that familiar pain shoot down your leg, or if you feel a tightness that is way worse than the other leg, I want you to do one simple thing. Lift your head up. Look at the ceiling. Does the pain in your leg suddenly get better when you look up? Think about that. Why would moving your neck change the pain in your leg? Your hamstring muscle is not attached to your skull. If it was a muscle problem, looking up shouldn't change a thing. But your spinal cord is attached to your skull. By lifting your head, you put slack in the wire from the top. The tension releases and the leg pain vanishes. This is absolute, undeniable proof that your leg pain is a tethered nerve problem. Safety warning, please stop immediately if you feel sharp electric pain. We are looking for a gentle yes or no, not trying to torture yourself. If you have balance issues or a history of fainting, please do this with someone watching you. Try. Sit, slump neck down, lift leg slowly. Pain, lift head. Relief, that is your diagnosis. The slump test tells you if it's the nerve, but the bathroom test I promised, the one we'll get to in a moment, tells you what is crushing it. Section 7, the shopping cart clue, stenosis versus disc issues. We have one more clue to gather before we fix this. This clue helps you pinpoint exactly what kind of structural failure is happening in your spine. It helps distinguish between the two biggest enemies of the spine over 55, the bulging disc and spinal stenosis. It is all about how you shop for groceries. I want you to vividly recall the last time you were at the supermarket. You grabbed the metal handle of the shopping cart. As you walk through the aisles looking for milk and bread, do you find yourself instinctively leaning heavily over the handle? Do you slump forward, resting your weight on your forearms? If leaning forward feels like heaven and standing up straight to reach for a box of cereal on the top shelf feels like fire radiating down your legs, you likely have spinal stenosis. Stenosis comes from a Greek word meaning narrowing. As we age, the canal that holds the spinal cord can get clogged with arthritis and thickened ligaments. When you stand up tall, you physically close those holes. It's like shutting a door on a finger. But when you lean forward over the shopping cart, you physically open those holes up. You increase the diameter of the tunnel, giving the nerve room to breathe. That is why you can walk for an hour in Walmart with a cart, but can't walk 10 minutes in the park without one. On the other hand, if sitting in the car hurts or putting on your socks is agony, but standing up and walking around makes the pain vanish, you likely have a disc issue. Discs are fluid-filled. They hate the compression of sitting, but they often tolerate standing quite well. This distinction is huge because it changes how you fix it. If you have the shopping cart sign, stenosis, you need to avoid excessive back bending. If you have the sitting pain, disc, you need to avoid slumping. Micro-CTA. If this little shopping cart trick just explained the last 5 years of your life and saved you a confusing, jargon-filled trip to the doctor, hit that subscribe button. We have a lot more detective work to do on your shoulders and knees in the next few videos, and I don't want you to miss out. Section 8. Loop resolution, the Valsalva Maneuver. Remember that bathroom mystery I teased at the beginning? The test you do without moving a muscle? It is time to reveal the secret. It is officially called the Valsalva Maneuver. It sounds technical, but it is just basic biology. The Valsalva Maneuver happens whenever you create internal abdominal pressure. Think about when you sneeze, that violent, sudden contraction. Think about a deep, rattling cough from your chest. Or, to be perfectly honest, think about straining when you are on the toilet. When you do these things, you are inflating your abdomen like a balloon. This pressure pushes backwards directly against your spinal column. This is called intrathecal pressure. If you sneeze and suddenly feel a bolt of lightning shoot down your leg or a deep, dull ache throb in your glute, that is the smoking gun. It means there is something, usually a disc herniation, taking up space in your spinal canal. Imagine your spinal canal is a tube packed with water. If you squeeze the tube, the sneeze, the pressure shoots to the weakest point. If you have a trapped nerve, that pressure wave hits the nerve root like a hammer. A healthy back can handle a sneeze with 0 leg pain. A back with a space-occupying lesion cannot. So, pay close attention the next time you cough. That little zing isn't just annoying, it is diagnostic. It tells you that the mechanical pressure in your back is directly linked to the pain in your leg. Section 9. The solution. Flossing, not stretching. So, let's take stock. We know it's the spine. We know stretching makes it worse. We know the nerve is sensitive to tension. What on earth do? We floss. I don't mean for your teeth. I mean for your nerve. This is a technique used by top neurorehabilitation specialists. The scientific term is neurogliding, but think of it as flossing. Remember, the nerve is stuck in a tunnel. We want to get it moving again without pulling it tight. We want to glide it back and forth to break up little adhesions, sticky spots, and, crucially, to pump fresh blood into the nerve. Nerves are bloodthirsty. They need oxygen to heal. When they are trapped, they starve. Flossing restores that blood flow. Here is exactly how you do it. Sit on a chair. It's a coordinated dance between your head and your leg. It might feel like patting your head and rubbing your tummy at first, but you will get the rhythm. The movement. Step 1, the slack. As you slowly straighten your painful leg out, which pulls the nerve from the bottom, I want you to simultaneously look up at the ceiling and extend your neck back. Why? Extending your neck feeds the nerve down the spinal canal. So, as you pull from the bottom, you give slack from the top. The nerve slides down, but it doesn't stretch. Step 2, the glide. As you bend your knee and bring your foot down, giving slack at the bottom, I want you to look down at your chest, chin to collarbone. Why? Now you are pulling the nerve up from the neck, but giving it slack at the leg. The nerve slides up. The rhythm. Leg up, head up. Leg down, head down. Think about it like a puppet string running through your body. You are just sliding the string back and forth through the tube. Slide down, slide up. Slide down, slide up. This triggers a process called axoplasmic flow. Think of it as your body's internal delivery trucks, finally being able to drive down the highway to deliver nutrients to the injured area. You are physically pumping the inflammation out and pumping oxygen in. Safety protocols. 1. Go very slow. This is not a workout. This is a delicate mobilization. 2. Stay in the pain-free range. If fully straightening your leg hurts, only straighten it 50%. The movement matters more than the range. 3. Do not force it. If you feel a sharp zap, you are going too far. Make the movement smaller. 4. Frequency. Do this for 60 seconds, maybe 10 to 15 repetitions, twice a day. This gives you the mobility to carry groceries up the stairs without a second thought. Try, right now. Sit tall. Leg goes up, head goes up. Give it slack. Leg goes down, head goes down. Pull it through. Up, up, down, down. Keep them moving together. Feel that gentle rhythm? That is the feeling of healing. Section 10. The red flags, when to run, not walk. Before we wrap this up, I need to be a serious friend for a moment. I need to take off the coach hat and put on the safety hat. 90% of this stuff heals with time, patience, better posture, and gentle flossing. The body is incredibly resilient. But there is a small, dangerous percentage of back issues that are medical emergencies. You need to know these signs. If you ignore them, you risk permanent paralysis or loss of function. Red flag 1, drop foot. If you are walking and your foot keeps slapping the ground, or you catch your toe on the carpet constantly, check this. Sit down and try to pull your big toe up towards your nose. If you can't do it, if the foot just flops there like a dead fish, that is a motor nerve failing. That is not just pain, that is a power outage. You need to see a doctor immediately to prevent permanent weakness.
Red flag 2, saddle anesthesia. This is the big one. This refers to numbness in the specific areas that would touch a saddle if you were riding a horse: your groin, your buttocks, and your inner thighs. If you wipe yourself after using the toilet and you cannot feel the toilet paper, that is a massive alarm bell. It suggests a condition called cauda equina syndrome. It is rare, but it is serious. Red flag 3, loss of bladder bowel control. If you have accidents you cannot stop, or conversely, if you cannot go even when you are full, retention, go to the emergency room. Do not wait for Monday. Do not wait for your appointment. Nerves that control the bladder die quickly when compressed. Time is tissue. Section 11, the summary, your new roadmap. Let's recap so you can start your journey to relief today. First, realize that you have been tricked. Stop treating the leg. The leg is just the messenger, shouting about a fire that is burning in the spine. Stop rubbing the calf and start looking at the lower back. Second, use the tools. Use the slump test to confirm it's a nerve. Use the shopping cart sign to see if it's stenosis or a disc. Use the sneeze check to confirm the pressure link.
Third, stop the stretching. You are just tightening the knot and making the nerve angrier. Swap your static stretching for nerve flossing. Remember the puppet string. Head up, leg up. Keep the wire moving, keep the blood flowing, and let the inflammation drain away. You have the power to fix this. You just needed the right map. Now you have it. If you found this detective work helpful, you are going to love our next video. We are going to dive deep into leg pain that isn't your leg, how to spot referred pain from the hip versus the spine. It turns out the hip joint is another great deceiver. Tap the card on the screen right now to keep fixing your body and reclaiming your active life. I'll see you there.